educational technologist is defined as one who facilitates learning using technological tools or improves performance by creating, using, and managing appropriate technological processes and resources, based on the 2004 AECT statement by the Definition Committee. Since the fall of 2011, I have been working toward achieving this title. My name is Lynn Johnson, and I am now at the end of my journey in the Boise State University EdTech program. 3 years ago, I was at a meeting at the Idaho Commission for Libraries with other school librarians from around the state, and we were discussing options for furthering our education. A friend mentioned the Boise State EdTech program since I was looking for something in technology rather than a master's in library science. I chose to enroll in the program, and now, 3 years later, have learned many new skills, collaborated with students across the world, and pushed myself in areas in which I had no previous experience. I live with my husband and twin teenage daughters in beautiful north central Idaho, and I work as a school district library media specialist, or librarian, for a large rural school district. Pursuing this master's degree in educational technology has allowed me to bring more technology integration into my library program and profession, as well as will allow me to explore other lines of work, which are now becoming more prevalent in my area. Over the past 3 years, I have taken courses that have taught me the basics of writing code, something I had no previous experience with, learned how to evaluate a program, which is a valuable skill to have in order to improve a program or system, designed learning materials based on specific design models and principles of design, required me to examine delivery systems, assess programs, and plan for future developments, and encouraged me to be creative and produce learning experiences that would be useful in my current profession. All of this work has been based on the AECT standards, the first of which is design. Design has been one of my favorite parts of the program. It has allowed me to use my own creativity to develop programming for my own library, students, and staff. One of my earliest examples would be the Interpreting Informational Text web pages I created for EdTech 506. For this assignment, I wrote the code using a Dreamweaver template, designed the messages based on learner characteristics and needs relating to library and Common Core standards. Images were created based on the design principle known as CARP, which is short for contrast, alignment, repetition, and proximity. This is especially seen on the types of informational text page, where the 5 types are reinforced through repetition, picture clues, and alignment. In order to lighten the learner's cognitive load, these principles strive to allow the learner to more easily interpret the image and remember it. An example of a unit created for EdTech 554, which incorporates a variety of media to teach the lessons, and is based on a Google Site template, allowed me to focus more on how the learner moves through the lessons and interacts with the information presented. This unit is a bit more pretty, graphically, but the activity also required me to consider the learner's characteristics, standards to be taught, message and image design, using the images as entry into other pages, all within the constraints of a Google Site template. Principles, actions, and tools, or PAT, were the elements I needed to consider when designing the unit, and the difference between the 2 units provides an example of my growth as a learner over time in the program. You can see that this site is a bit text-heavy, although it was also developed for older learners, using a piece of literature that may be commonly read in the middle school age. It also incorporates access to hypermedia, including video and images. One of my least favorite courses going into it, I thought, was EdTech 505, Evaluation for Educational Technologists, because frankly, it sounded pretty boring. I must say, though, that I got as much, if not more, from this class as any I have taken on this journey. The class gave me a better understanding of why evaluation is important, a variety of models to draw from for evaluation, and an opportunity to put learned skills into practice. I chose to evaluate my library consortium's staff web pages, which was a very practical activity as I ended up using the information gathered to build a new website for the consortium later that year. The process of collecting user data from staff of over 50 libraries, compiling the data, and making recommendations for future web page construction allowed me to truly use the knowledge I gained to have an impact on my profession and benefit those others in my consortium. This process was documented in my final project for the class and the resulting website I created for the ValNet Consortium, seen here. In the formal evaluation report, I described the program under consideration and my evaluation methods, included data collection results, and made appropriate recommendations for future changes. I used a Likert scale to collect data about ease of site use for the user. After the evaluation project was completed, I presented my report to the consortium directors and was then asked to create a new website based on findings. For this degree, I chose to also add a graduate certificate in technology integration, which fits well into my profession as a librarian. My school district isn't the most technologically advanced, tending to wait for initiatives from the state to fund technologies and abandoning the typical 5-year plan for technology maintenance or upgrading. Activities including evaluating my district's technological maturity on the school environment evaluation assignment for EdTech 501, creating a rubric for district technology rollout, and developing professional development for my own staff using technology tools have given me opportunities to consider the big picture of technology use and integration into my profession, school setting, and my state. Assessing the current technological state of the subject under consideration, looking at where it should be, and deciding the most efficient and practical way to get there, as well as whether targets have been achieved once there, are skills I have acquired that support standards for utilization, management, and evaluation. When considering today's teaching staff and how to bring about implementation and institutionalization, I have identified characteristics of staff members and how they can bring their classrooms into the 21st century through technology integration. For EdTech 554, Managing Technology Integration, I created a video entitled Mrs. T, Then and Now. This video demonstrates the understanding of growth that needs to occur in order to implement best practices of educational technology integration into classrooms today. These best practices allow for today's learners' needs to be met in real-life settings and for complete adoption within the structure of the organization. In EdTech 554, I also developed a professional development unit for my staff, recognizing that they lack in basic skills using Google tools. Since my district has moved to Gmail and has many free tools available for use by staff, this training made practical sense. Other portions of the professional development plan I developed, including blogging, would also help them improve the district's digital footprint with parents and students. And sadly, students in my district may have more skills in these areas than my staff. Providing professional development will ensure change and adoption of new technologies, bringing my library program into the 21st century. My journey through the EdTech program at Boise State University has opened my eyes to the world of resources available for learners technologically, giving me the knowledge, skills, and ability to develop practical learning material for students and staff in my profession, taught me how to evaluate the quality of that learning material, foster change in my professional situation through evaluation of current characteristics, and set and implement goals for growth, and enabled me to determine when technology use would be best or whether technology is just being used for technology's sake. I've enjoyed this journey, learned from my professors and others in my coursework, and believe the program has been a good match for me professionally. The skills I take away from this program allow me to make a difference in my professional setting and has opened doors for me to other areas.